Bruno Guimarães has just delivered a huge 3 points for Newcastle United. In recent weeks, their form has dipped a little bit, and I would say the Newcastle fans have had mixed emotions in the last couple of weeks. A win against Forest, but Forest clawed their way back into the game. Then a couple of mixed results against Brighton and against Liverpool. But today, they had to get 3 points. More importantly, building momentum onto Sunday into that cup final. I'm going to do my prediction for that later on this week. Of course, Liverpool play tomorrow night in the Champions League, which is a massive game for them. And Newcastle have been really unfortunate without Gordon. Isak was a doubt. I'm not entirely sure if he was 100% fit. Botman, I think, is going to be ruled out tonight. On Sunday. Didn't play tonight. But the main thing about today's game was just getting the right result. They're still in contention to get Champions League football. They are level on points with Manchester City. Teams around them actually had pretty good results, which is unfortunate for Newcastle. You know, Brighton won, Chelsea won, Newcastle won, and they are only 4 points off of third. So anything can happen in this Premier League season. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button. 90% of you that watch the Newcastle content are not subscribed. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We are steamrolling our way towards 50,000 subscribers. We're under 700 away now from 48K. Newcastle United 1, West Ham 0. Or should I say West Ham United 0, Newcastle 1. And it was a very, very even game. You know, a massive, massive chance in the first minute for Souček. I am not entirely sure how he has not scored that. I'm going to be brutally honest. I think he should have scored that. Not Newcastle's strongest 11 tonight. No Botman, no Gordon. Isak, like I said, I don't think was fully fit. But when you've got players like Bruno Guimarães and Tonali, I think Bruno Guimarães is very close or maybe on the cusp of being a world-class player. He is absolutely majestic. You can see why Manchester City want to get him. 22 passes into the final third. 4 passes that broke the West Ham defensive line. Can play central midfield. Can play attacking midfield. Can play defensive midfield. Can play as a lone 6. Can play on the double pivot. Can play as an 8. He can unlock. The option that Newcastle have for creativity. He can play alongside Tonali and then have an attacking midfielder in front. His engine, his work rate, he ticks every single box for Newcastle United. He loves the club at the end. He's singing, about going to Wembley. He's kissing the Newcastle badge. And tonight, he stepped up with a massive, massive goal. Newcastle need confidence going into that final. They are up against the best team in the world right now. A Liverpool team that were top of the Champions League, on the verge of going into the quarterfinal, are going to be Premier League champions. But we've seen huge results in cup competitions. Birmingham City beating Arsenal. Wigan, all those years ago, beating City in the FA Cup. If this game goes down to penalties, who knows? Of course, Liverpool will be huge, huge favourites. And I think any Newcastle fan would probably agree with that as well. They are the team to beat. But anything can happen. If Alexander Isak is fully fit, he has already scored a goal against Liverpool this season. They have every chance of getting something out of that game. Pope, Livramento, Dan Burn, Cher, Trippier, Joelinton, Tonali, Bruno G, Murphy, Isak, Barnes. I actually thought that Murphy had a relatively decent game. Obviously, Barnes got the assist for the goal. Tonali is just a monster, an absolute monster. 24 years of age. He's so important, plays the anchor role in the midfield. Good to see Joelinton as well. Hasn't played that much football in the last month. Livramento, of course, no Lewis Hall either. So Trippier and Livramento were the fullback pairing, and they did get a clean sheet. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't an easy win. Newcastle had the much higher XG of 1.38 compared to 0.45. You know, Areola made an absolute worldy save in the second half. Could have been 2-0. West Ham fans will feel hard done by because they, in their eyes, probably thought they should have had a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty from Bruno Guimarães on Jared Bowen. I thought he's got to be stronger there. Newcastle created 2 chances, missed one, but did score one. A lot of fouls in this game. Corners were pretty much even. But what that does for Newcastle in terms of the league table is puts them up to 6th. Now, I said in my predictions, I feel Newcastle United can get 3rd, and I am sticking with that. They have the firepower of an Alexander Isak. Gordon will be back soon. But when you look at how tight that league table is, between 4th and 9th is 5 points. That is absolutely massive. Newcastle United only won 2 of the last 5 games. Of course, they've got the cup final on Sunday, where they could finally see some silverware. They don't have an easy run of games at all. They play Crystal Palace, who are very, very good at the moment. Aston Villa away. Manchester United, I expect them to win. Brentford, tough game. Leicester away, I think they will win. Ipswich, Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Everton. Their last 10 games are tough, but every Newcastle fan, all they will care about is that cup final. And don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed watching Liverpool this season. I think they are one hell of a team. But it would be nice to see another team go out there and win a major honour. I wanted Newcastle or Villa to go out there and win the FA Cup. Teams like Bournemouth as well. No disrespect to Newcastle, but they haven't won anything in such a long time. And they've got such a loyal fan base. Their fans are loyal to the core. They travel home and away in their numbers. They're loud. They're passionate. You know, they're grateful. And they'd be over the moon if they got that win. I do think Liverpool will be very, very difficult to stop. But like I said, we have seen situations in the past where teams have gone out there and done the business. And that will be no different, absolutely no different to if Newcastle get the win. If they would have lost tonight, I think that puts them in a very, very difficult place in terms of confidence going into that final. But the fact they did actually get the 3 points tonight, it will be a huge, huge confidence boost. You know, it's a shame they don't have Hall, Botman, or Gordon. If they had those 3 going into the game, I don't know, flip a coin. Finals are very, very hard. Very, very, you're talking about a player turning up in the biggest games of their career. Liverpool have got a lot of players that have turned up over the years. Trent, Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah. The fact that Liverpool play tomorrow night as well will obviously benefit Newcastle. Another 90 minutes on the legs of the Liverpool players. Salah will probably play a full 90. Van Dijk as well. Arne Slot, of course, will have one eye on the cup final. So it'd be interesting to see what lineup he puts out. But when Newcastle have got a midfield of Bruno Guimarães, Tonali, and Joelinton, I've spoken about their midfield time and time again. That's one of the best functioning midfields out there. Newcastle have still got players like Willock, Wilson, and Longstaff, and Lewis Miley that can come on and, of course, make an impact. But it's unfortunate that Lewis Hall, Botman, and Gordon, I think, will all miss the final. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Make sure you're there. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your score predictions. Newcastle fans, let me know your thoughts on the game. Do you think Isak was fully fit? Excuse me. Who was your man of the match? For me, Bruno Guimarães is an absolute joke. He is so, so good. make sure you drop a like. I am